Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's Great NASCAR Adventure!
Woo! Thanks, Marshall. Yeah, I bet she's sweating balls. It's the end of July in North Carolina. Just saying.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be down there next week. Marshall will not be. He's going on a cruise. So I will not get to see him next week.
Too bad. I'm Ben. It's Doug. It's NasCanucks. The best monthly NASCAR podcast.
What it seems like.
You set the thumbnail, you get the list in the YouTube studio, previously.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap. Because it was like a month, and then a month before that. We did the first and last weeks of May.
You've kept your other show going. I'm like, I think I put a show there the other week, and it was been 2 months.
Yeah.
And even my online, my audio stuff I put out. He's trying to put an audio show out as well, and I'm like April that I haven't put stuff out since.
Perfect.
So,
what's up, Terry? Hit Metalworks. Good to see both of you. So, Pocono. Not a double.
I would love to go to that track someday, but they just don't want us.
Right. Yeah, it's only 5 hours from me.
Well, it was 5 years ago, was it? Before COVID. Yeah. Tried to get there. And they didn't want to sell us a campsite, but they would sell us a ticket.
Yeah, we don't want
fucking good at the ticket if I don't have a campsite. Or I couldn't just have a campsite on the infield. I had to buy a ticket in the grandstand.
Yeah.
No.
They're like, well, you can't see anything. It's like, no, I got a scanner. I'm good.
Yeah, I can walk. I got 2 feet and a heartbeat. I can walk around.
Yeah. Plus, they got those. I did notice they got the Indy style, the grandstands on the pit side as well that they don't apparently really use. But
yeah, no, yeah.
So all 3 series plus ARCA, which I don't know, somebody won the ARCA race. I don't know. It was run at 8 in the morning on Saturday. Nobody's up to watch that stuff. So
no. Can we just go back a week though?
Oh, why? Because your driver won on a Monday again?
Yes. Mondays are for Martin. And do you know what's even better is I was kind of trying to figure out how I was going to get the wife to let me go to Huntersville shopping in that little boutique store.
Right.
Now there's a reason, because I need another shirt.
Well, there we are.
She said I don't. She said I don't, but I do.
But you do. Yeah. He's convenient. As she's saying, you just conveniently spill something on the shirt. Oh, look. Sorry. Need a new shirt.
I don't have a New Hampshire Wind shirt.
We had the trucks running. We're hoping Stuart Friesen on the bubble, with the points. We're getting down to crunch time. Him and Matt Crafton, wily veterans that they are. It seems to be that's the kind of deal for 10th. I think for some reason they do 10, whatever, 10.
Because they do less weeks.
Yeah, I know that, but you think it'd be 8 instead of, but I don't know.
Well, because they go down 2 by 2 by 2.
Do they?
Yes.
I don't know. It's all.
They have the same amount of races in the chase or in the playoffs.
I don't know. I'm good at the end of the regular season, anyways. That's good enough for me. Whoever wins that, because that's actually a bunch of races, like every other series in the world. Anywho's, enough of that. So Stewart did well early in the race. Managed to get up into 8th or 9th for the first stage, snagged some points there. Then he was top 3 in the stage 2, snagged a bunch of points there, which is really good because he got taken out hard in the 3rd stage. So, which then Matt Crafton was able to do better because he's a wily veteran. So I think Friesen is close. I think he was going into the race. He was 20 points out of the cutoff. Now he's 14.
Mm-hmm.
Because of stage points. Sure.
Nothing wrong with stage points.
Yeah. Whatever. Shouldn't be any stages. fly is right on top of my microphone. I want to hit it so bad, but it's literally right on top of my microphone.
I seen it circling around the head there.
Yeah, it's literally looking at me, sitting on the mic. Go ahead, hit me. Go ahead. Doug will hate you.
I'm not wearing headphones. Go ahead.
Oh. Not on there now. Sorry to those wearing headphones. Yep, Terry. Other 3 phantom people that are. I don't know. We have 5.
You no longer have a circle fly around you.
I do not. He's like, oh,
you know
he does not care that he's live on air.
You know what the circle flies do? They circle around usually.
It is a NASCAR podcast, so. Yeah.
No, I'm saying.
Because we know what opinions are like. Everyone has one.
Circle flies usually circle around the horse's ass. So, there's that.
Like I say, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
So, Kyle Busch wins. What's up, Riff? I get it. Nice. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, a lot has changed. Kyle Busch with KBM win number 100.
Yes.
Crazy to believe.
Looks like number 60 for himself, I think.
Right. So, yeah, which the crowd are like, they kind of give him his respect. It's not all the booze of 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
No.
And yeah,
they can't. Can the fans really boo him now that he's in a Chevy driving for RCR?
Right. And he's one of the cleanest veterans out there. Like, he runs clean. Like, he'll take himself out to avoid taking you out.
Oh yeah,
he's
for sure.
Really a very aware driver. Like, one of the best. Like, he's really taken over, like, for Tony Stewart in that respect. Like, the old school racing, like, oh, you're faster, just go. I'm not going to drive over top of everybody to try, like, wreck everybody. Carson Hocevar. Oh, I can't pass him clean. Well, I'll just wreck him. Idiot. Hate that guy. He's really on my list. Do not care for him. Oh, he has so much talent. Does he? Because he doesn't want to pass somebody clean.
We will talk about the list that he is on a little later on.
He's on the list.
Because he is on a list.
Yeah. So that brings us into the Xfinity. Which, I don't know, a lot of the chatter, John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, John Hunter Nemechek, it's one or the other.
Oh, yeah.
One or the other. Well, with a little bit of Justin Allgaier sprinkled on top.
With one of them being on the list I will talk about later on as well.
This is it. So, I don't know. It was, it's Pocono.
Yeah.
See, the one thing I liked about Pocono, Doug, was without stages, everybody did get spread out and it almost turned into like a Formula One race, where it was all about green flag pit stops. Pit in, pit out. You can make up a lot of time or lose a lot of time. And now with the stage breaks, you lose the momentum of the race with the stage breaks.
Formula One's about qualifying. Like, that's not sugar-coated here.
Yes, but traditionally, I'm saying, throughout the race, the whole team is involved much more because less passing on the track. Therefore, pit stops were that much more important.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll give you that.
Similar to a road course race. It was just a road course with all left turns, which Pocono kind of is. To which we ended up with Austin Hill winning the race.
Yes.
For his 4th win of the year, I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
I don't care for the guy myself. Another guy I don't care for. Just because he did get told off by a former RCR driver, and then he leveled the kid. Silly. You got this chip on your shoulder because you think you're the third coming of Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah. Well, we know we can fight because he showed last year, right?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That is, that's when we found out. Apparently, he trains in MMA during the week for his cardio. Mike Snyder did not know that.
No.
Quickly found out, though. Quickly. Yeah, so he won. Saying off air, Ty Dillon in the 3 car. It's kind of cool to see, we call that the alumni ride, if it will, based off last names. If you're an Earnhardt or a Dillon / Childress, family member. If you're part of the family, you can run that car, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is nothing wrong. It's good to see Ty involved with the family team.
Oh yeah, and we thought already going into it that his involvement would have been on the backside of the team, kind of behind the scenes, but
much like his father.
Yep.
It seems like Ty's destined to take over his father's role, and Austin's going to take over RC's role.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Austin, more on him later.
There seems to be a lot of, for the Cup races, a lot of shit that came out afterwards. Yeah.
Again, we're seeing more aggressive driving, not necessarily dirty, but aggressive. But geez, Austin, watch the damn replay after you get taken out. You clearly came down on the 45, and then you still got your panties all in a twist. And I assume he wears panties because his wife dresses him clearly still.
I think that's the case for a lot of things. Because do we just want to talk about the wrecks? Because that seems to be all that was interesting about the race.
Other than the track was pretty competitive because they didn't put down any new peanut butter in the corners or anything, but it's got the leftover peanut butter from like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, which kind of worked, and the new strip of asphalt isn't so new anymore, so it wasn't so obvious that it was one lane. So it was really 2 lanes all the way around the track, I'd say, which is weird because traditionally it is pretty much a 1-lane track. You don't pass in the tunnel turn, for instance. Kind of 3, you would get some passing or dive bombs into 1 kind of thing.
Yeah, or exit a 1.
Yes.
More on that later.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they couldn't even get to a restart as well. Like, give me 1 freaking lap after a restart.
Right. And I like that. What did Joey Logano do to his car just with the 4 flat tire? They were just dragging it all the way back. It was that it couldn't get minimum speed again.
Well, no. Okay, so with that, did you see the video then that came out?
No.
Joey's in car with audio. I was really surprised that NASCAR no, maybe not even NASCAR. Someone else put that out. So Joey gets wrecked. Who I forget who all was involved, but he got wrecked. So he had the 4 flat tires.
Yes.
Right. So he was sitting up in the corner there, right?
Yeah.
And poor track worker comes over to say, "Hey, we're going to try and give you a push," right?
Yeah.
And Joey just goes off on him, like F-bomb city, and they didn't bleep anything out the video that I seen.
Nice.
It was just, "You fucking idiot! I can't move. I don't want to push. Like I need to be towed." And then the guy, you hear the guy leave, and the guy comes back. He goes like, "We're gonna hook you up in the back, and we're gonna tow you to pit road slowly." He's like, "That's what I've been fucking telling you, you fucking idiot." And that's all you're hearing in the video, right? There goes our monetization here with this show here, but that's all you hear with Joey, and we're like, Joey, that's just people talking to you like for like ever, right?
Yep.
But so he just lost, and then so I don't know what else will happen there.
I would like to hear the track where he goes back to the track, or maybe I won't call a tow truck. Fuck you, Logano, and walk away. And then you see him get in his truck and drive off.
Yep. I remember that happening at Flamborough Speedway back in the day in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Don Biederman got wrecked and got into it with the tow guy, right? And I don't know if it was that Biederman didn't want to get towed, he wanted to get pushed. I don't know, whatever. And so the tow guy hooks him up, and Biederman stays in the car.
Yeah.
Right. And as the tow truck's trying to pull him off, Biederman just keeps hammering the brakes. So you see the whole tow truck is shaking. So finally the tow guy just gets out of the truck, drops the fucking car, and just takes off. Like, okay, fine, you're staying here.
Yep. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. So yeah, and Austin Dillon had a couple of incidences. I think it's again one of those times where when he has a competitive car lately, he overdrives because he thought, well, this is my one shot for the year. This is my Texas. Because he knows they don't come around often, so he overcompensates, trying to take advantage of the situation. And you came down on 45. Clearly, even Junior, mentioned it. He's like, well, I heard what Dale said, and I disagree. All right, sure.
Then he does the helmet throw.
The helmet throw that apparently cost him $5,000. I assume. Saw a thumbnail that said $5,000 toss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about some other fines, but I'm guessing they're not going to happen. More on that later.
Yeah. So it comes down to late restarts and such, and we got.
Well, there was the other wreck.
Yeah.
Where Bowman, Hamlin wrecked me. Hamlin didn't frickin' touch you.
Yeah.
That was just air.
Yeah. Not possibly a nudge, but definitely not like a wall up.
I could have put my head between the two cars there.
Yeah, it was. I know it was air packing, and then to the point where it is possible they could have literally touched. But I mean, literally.
They showed there was room in the replay. They showed the method of part that you fast forward.
Yeah, that's probably part of fast forward. But yeah, well, and isn't he basically out of that ride anyway? So he's just grasping.
I think it's coming to that because he's done nothing since he broke his back.
No, well, he admits he's not 100%. Well, then step out of the car.
Yeah, you've already got your wins. Step out of the car.
Yeah. So yeah, you got Larson had problems earlier. That towards the end, him and Hamlin running, and Hamlin did kind of push him wide enough that because I was already thinking I was thinking marbles because before watching the Cup race, I watched the IndyCar race at Iowa, so it's all the marbles. That's what I was thinking, but it's not like Larson's never done that to anybody either.
Didn't he do that to Bubba in Vegas?
That's what I'm saying.
So, and the other thing I looked at it in all the replays and everything is that you don't see any smoke from them touching. I think if they really would have touched, you would have seen a little bit of tire smoke.
Then he just forced him up. He didn't push him into the wall. He just forced him into the wall.
Well, and like listening to some bunch of callers today.
Plus, like anything, he could have let off more. Like you hear Kyle feathers it for a second. That doesn't change momentum. You got to get out of the gas.
Yep.
Sorry, you're going to go back to 18th, but that's what happens.
And he gave Hamlin that lower lane, right? So Hamlin just took it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But the other thing that I found, I didn't think of this until after Dave Moody said it today, and I was like, yeah, but all the other times that stuff like this has happened. Right? Denny Hamlin has put out the data that, look, see, like the guy didn't lift or whatever. Here's the data.
Well, Denny's big on data when Denny's on the wrong end. Like if Kyle had said, oh, I'm going in the wall. No, I'm just going to, full left and hit you in the right rear quarter, which turns you into the wall, which is a big no-no and gets you a suspension.
Yeah.
Denny would have been all over that SMT data. Oh, look, he cranked the wheel on the left right into my rear quarter.
Well, okay, now what about...
And Dylan mentioned the same thing. Well, we'll see all the nuances of the steering.
Yeah, okay, so let's then fast forward a half a lap. Larson comes back up on the caution, turns right into Hamlin. Because if you go back and look at that replay, Larson almost turns Truex as well.
Yeah.
He just missed.
We talked about the fact, yes, you're supposed to slow down to maintain pace car speed.
Yep.
Larson, who had faded to 4th, all of a sudden is rubbing the leader. That means he passed 2 cars under caution.
Yep. And so what if he does, because he tried to do a quick turn into Hamlin there, what if he does happen to clip Truex and wreck him?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where's the fine for that? Where's the people complaining about that?
Yeah. Now, and that would be a maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday, whereas back in the day, right or wrong, if he did that and he clipped Truex, immediately they'd tell him to park the car for multiple laps or the day. We've seen multiple cars get parked over the year back in the day.
Yeah.
Which they just don't, we'll deal with it later. No, you don't. You deal with it right then and there. You got to nip it. Because otherwise, Truex is like, oh, Larson, all right. He's on my list of cars that are not going to win the title this year.
Okay, that's another list. And it's funny you just said that. Is that all these drivers are talking about, I got a list of all the people going to get back. I love the guy. Truex has a list freaking this long. You can't even see my hands. That's how long freaking Truex list is. Is he really going to take those guys and get them back?
No.
Not a chance.
No. He just says that, though. It's like our parents warning us they're going to spank us.
Yeah.
Don't talk until you actually do it.
Okay, so then the other thing. Okay, well, let's talk about the finish then. The finish is another thing that I was like, what the fuck? Because
they should have thrown the caution before they
crossed the line for the last lap.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't moving.
Yeah. They did a whole thing, and the whole thing is like, he'll... And Steve Letarte pulling Steve Letarte. Oh, he'll get it fired, Doug. Don't worry, he'll get it fired when they did a whole fucking segment 15 minutes earlier. Oh, these cars, for some reason, they don't like to restart after they spun out. What's up, Guitar Man 45?
And you know what? And kind of going on with...
just did a whole thing on how they don't like to refire. These cars don't like to refire. And then Pop-Tart, it's going to start right up. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Go do your sports betting bullshit. Get out of the booth.
Well, and that's the thing. Get out of the booth because, you know what? For as much as we said we loved the first half of the season with Fox because we didn't have anyone honking on the Hendrick Bobo, right? Now we've got the whole booth honking on Hendrick Bobo.
And Letarte's all over the JR Motorsports because why? He's got a podcast. And who hosts this podcast? His boothmate. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So Denny Hamlin wins the race. Hey, Jeremy, it's been a minute. Wins the race for Toyota's 600th win in NASCAR.
I'm going to say just to end, Jeremy, no, I think he's back next year.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hamlin with Toyota's 600th win, his personal 50th win, milestones. Yep. Fun fact, though, because they were talking about it previously, out of those 600 wins, the guy who won the truck race has won over 200 of those 600 wins. I'm like, what? Like, I know he's had, he's won a lot, but you forget. And it's like, when a manufacturer has won 600 races in the top levels of NASCAR, and one guy has won over a third of them, and I'm thinking, and he started winning races in Chevys before he went to Toyota.
Well, look at the other Toyota teams that have been in NASCAR.
Yes.
They ain't winning shit.
No.
So
nope. Yeah, I'm trying to think. When was there another competitive Toyota team? But there wasn't really.
What do you mean?
Outside Gibbs / Furniture Row, which is Gibbs Light.
There was Red Bull.
Yeah, but were they ever really, really competitive?
Michael Waltrip Racing.
As you said, not. And then Gaunt Brothers.
Oh, DJ Kennington.
Daytona 500s in 3 days, yeah, we might feel the car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting.
Then also,
The fans were not happy with Hamlin. A lot of Hendrick fans in the stands. I don't know.
But then also go to post race. I'm waiting for, and because no one has said shit about shit, because Larson in his interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
Throws a shit in there, and no one says nothing. But let any other driver other than a Hendrick driver say any kind of 4-letter word, and it's like, oh, you got to park him for next week.
Yeah. Well, unless you know a Gregson too.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing that when we talked about this off air,
with the guy that was always running Xfinity races last year and puking and dying and everything, he seems to have handled the extra long Cup races absolutely fine. We don't see any IV bags getting rushed into Gregson post race because they'd be showing that stuff. If he's
maybe it's the TV cameras that make him sick. Doesn't like to talk.
White Claws.
I was going to say something. I just totally lost it. Oh, yeah.
Well, that brings us into the off-season news already. Silly season.
Well, just to go off on one last thing on this week is that, and as we talked about this off air, the Hendrick fans drive me absolutely freaking nuts.
Well, no kidding.
Because Denny just drives like that, okay? So we can have something to talk about on his podcast. That's all he does. Or he goes and he says something just so he can say something on his podcast, right? Because you don't see anyone else doing that there, right? And it was funny because there was like 2 callers in a row did that, right? And then Moody's like, okay, so let's get Kyle Larson's take as he was on his podcast talking about it this week. And I was like,
right.
Ta-da, there you go.
Fun fact, I saw the purses for the races announced this weekend for the first time in years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Shocked. Don't remember what the purses were, but they looked about right from 10 years ago. So, yeah. Yeah. So, the big news recent, Haley leaving the 31 Colleague Racing and going to Rick Ware Racing because Rick Ware's sons are going to be locked up in the state penitentiary in North Carolina, likely for next season. So they ain't come back. And maybe JJ Yaley finally hangs it up. I don't know. And a bunch of people, why is he doing it? Why is he going there? Colleague, they've got affiliation with Childress. That's a good operation, blah, 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 blah. Well, I got 2 reasons. One, he wants to keep running in Cup. And I'm thinking his contract was expiring and there was no negotiations because generally the first people that want to lock you up is the car owner long before the driver starts looking elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the other thing I noticed they were talking about Chris Rice, VP there, is now getting involved in calling race decisions.
Yes.
No, that's the crew chief's job, Chris.
Yep.
That's an IndyCar move, right? Where you got a lot of people that strategists.
So rumored to go into that ride is Austin Hill.
Sure, because he is a Chevy driver.
Carson Hocevar.
That'd be rushed.
Right.
I also heard another name.
Oh, yeah?
Which would be the most logical. Chandler Smith.
Another one, yes.
He already drives for Colleague.
I'm hearing that the Austin Hill is a front runner for that.
Oh, well, it makes sense because he's kind of doing that. He's peaking in Xfinity, much like we saw with Gibbs and Gregson last year. He's the dominant guy along with Nemechek, and Nemechek's more of a veteran. Nemechek's run all the series already. So,
yeah.
Although I thought Nemechek was kind of rushed up to Cup initially too.
Yeah. Well, he was kind of in that
same. You can't really see who else because I was thinking about that. Do we bring back a wily veteran? But the veterans that are all out of it are a little too wily at this point. Other than maybe Ryan Newman, but Ryan Newman wasn't exactly setting the world on fire in the 6 car.
No. And he ain't doing nothing in the Spire car that he's been driving.
Nope.
But
exactly. So, kind of like when Kenseth came back, he was gone a little too long, lost the step.
Yep.
Yeah, because I can't think of anyone that's that current, like, out of a... Well, I was like, Cole Custer, possibly? Who, ironically, was driving for Rick Ware Racing in the Cup race.
Yeah, I think Cole is in his spot in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really think of anybody else. Which brings me to what I mentioned to you off air, and I want to get it on air and out there. So, how much longer does Harrison Burton have a Cup career?
Yeah, that's one that
I'm a fan of the family, and I'd love to see him do well, but he's done sweet fuck all as a Cup driver. I don't even know if he has a career top 10 outside of maybe a restrictor plate finish type thing.
I'm almost wondering, like a Nemechek, like a Ryan Truex, did he come up too soon?
Yep. Well, that was that thing because with Blaney moving over, with Brad leaving, and there was that shuffling of the deck a little early and stuff.
Because I think JGR was grooming him to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think if he would have stayed, it would have been Ty Gibbs still in the Xfinity Series now, and Harrison Burton taking that ride.
Possibly.
But then speaking of Ty Gibbs, how quiet is he getting into the playoffs?
He's not getting that close. He's still got a few heads to go above. I don't think he's going to make the playoffs. Unless he wins a race. Unless he wins a race. That's the only way. And at that one point when he's right, I'm like, he better not win a fucking race and get in the playoffs, you little punk. But that was me watching the Cup race.
What do you mean, Gibbs or someone else?
Yeah, watching Gibbs the other day in the Cup race. Because there was a moment there where he was all of a sudden competitive. I'm like, hey!
Who's okay? Who's closer? Ty Gibbs? Chase Elliott?
They're both doing nothing, eh?
No, I'm asking you. Of the two of them, who do you think gets in?
I will say Chase only because he may pull off a road course win at Watkins Glen or something,
I don't know.
Not to mention, based on car ownership, a fix, maybe a few extra horsepower into the hood, like not like the Hendrick organization's ever cheated.
Never. Anyone found that laptop yet?
Right.
But then SVG is coming back to run a few more races now.
See, now, I think he should just retire. One and done. Best winning percentage ever as a Cup driver. One and done.
I'm hearing he's coming for a full season.
After next year.
Yep.
Because he still has a full year left in V8 Supercar. Yeah. I'd like to see him run Xfinity before Cup.
Well, he's already proven that he can win a Cup car.
Yeah, so did Justin Haley, if you want to go by that.
Yeah, that was rain shortened.
Yeah. All right, Austin Cindric. How much longer is he? Well, he's got because dad. But then again, daddy's role with an organization doesn't guarantee a Cup ride. Look at
Custer has set the precedent, and Ty Dillon has set the precedent with that one.
Right.
But yeah.
Because again, not doing much. Flashes here and there, but
he's
Logano can do that. Logano can run 20th 3 weeks in a row and then all of a sudden throw off a win. That's the way Logano is. He's streaky that way.
Yep.
Ryan Blaney is the most consistent driver, clearly, because it's like Blaney and Truex are for the regular season points lead.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, because Ryan Blaney, being the Denny Hamlin of this season, like no wins, but dominating the points.
Yep.
Ever going to make the playoffs?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Because we're not going to get our 16 winners.
No, it doesn't appear that way.
We're not going to.
No. Trackhouse is kind of falling off, with the exception of the Project 91 win.
Yeah.
Suarez took a hell of a lick, mind you.
Yeah.
But Chastain, he's just out there.
So how long? What do we see? What do we see first? Chastain win another race, or Busch watermelon beer?
I like me some watermelon, and I like beer, but I'm not together. It's just wrong. Then again, a lot of Busch beer is about as watery as watermelon, so.
There's this watermelon.
Cheers, Bo. I think Chastain would get a win first. I hope. Because I don't want to ever see watermelon beer. I just don't.
Should I bring in some of this back too with me after?
Well, I just, every time I see a flavored beer on the side of a NASCAR car, I just think to myself, when's Durango coming back? Because that's what, the original flavored beer, Durango. I don't know. I don't think there was any other silly season stuff other than hearing possibly Bowman may be out of a ride.
Yeah, Bono Mannion coming in as the interim crew chief for Ty Dillon.
Right.
In the
For Spire Motorsports, the 77. Yes. Oh, there we go.
Other than that.
Well, we got what? Richmond, I believe, is coming up this weekend.
Yep.
I seem to be a lot of chatter.
You're a little better than Kyle Larson.
Look, but that was only because I watched the broadcast. He didn't, and there was chatter about Richmond. So,
yeah,
are we going to see payback this weekend? Because every time it's like, oh, we're at a short track, it's time for payback. But then, oh no, points are too important.
Are we splitting off? Aren't we splitting off this weekend? Xfinity go one way, Cup goes another way.
Oh, another one of those.
Yes,
sure.
Is Xfinity going to? I want to say Road America. No,
I don't think they go to Road America anymore.
They're going to a road course though.
NASCAR schedule alley.
Get out your Googler there.
Road America. It defaulted to Xfinity.
I knew it.
On Saturday. So what? On Saturday? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, I wonder if IndyCar's... I thought Indy's already been there for that. That's been a lot of these interesting, like, real standalone, like not pairing with IndyCar, not, like the one weekend, what was it at Mid-Ohio? Trucks in ARCA. I'm like, right on. Because, there's a bunch of other SCCA type stuff going on too, but like, why not? Because that's going to bring the ticket price way down.
Well, coming up, was it Indy? It's like the Indy road course is like the Xfinity Series Cup, and then the Indy one. I don't know if it's the old Indy Light Series or whatever,
Trucks are at Richmond as well.
Yeah, so Trucks and Cup at Richmond.
Yeah,
Indy and Xfinity Road America, I believe.
I don't know. Let's look up the IndyCar schedule. So yeah, they just ran a doubleheader at Iowa Speedway, where it was Newgarden swept the weekend. Yeah, it was quite a good race. I quite enjoyed it. Will Power did not, because he kept dominating the early part of the race and then fading. And then we had a loose wheel. Oofda. He left the Stingray Rob. He left, and the left rear. The dude's like, "No, I didn't get it." And yeah, the lug nut was in the next pit stall. I'm like, that's not good. And then it was loose wheel. Maybe he'll come up the track. Maybe he'll come back down the track. No caution. I'm like, guys. All right, IndyCar. All right, well, I gotta look at a fucking PDF. I do have to look at a PDF because it's fucking IndyCar. They're difficult. Nope, they're off this weekend. That's right. Next race for them, Streets of Nashville.
Okay. Yep.
And then Indy, and then Indy, where they do, maybe that's the shared weekend with NASCAR.
Yep.
And then one of your favorite tracks to pronounce, Worldwide Technology Raceway Park. They don't even have the park listed, not enough room.
Well, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than that.
Well, it's just Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Okay, well, there's more to the name, Mike.
As opposed to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna. Oh, yeah, they're going back to Portland, too. Nice. You know, Portland's not the same since they wrecked it with chicanes for safety. I don't know. There's a lot of wrecks in that chicane going into turn 1 of Portland. I don't think it really matters. Whether you got to either dive bomb IndyCar, Indy road course style, all dive bomb into a sharp right-hander, or you put a chicane. Either way, they're all dive bombing. Fun fact, Portland, the other race on the calendar that shares a drag strip as part of the straight.
Okay.
Along with Sonoma, right? Because Sonoma, you catch the end of the drag strip when they're going around. More the cool down area than the actual. Although they used to use the launch area. When I don't know if you remember, the old pit road at Sonoma couldn't hold all the cars, so you had like 4 cars that would pit out in the freaking island in the middle of the hairpin. Which the crews were like, we don't want to be here. People are hitting these tires and shit. We don't want to pit here. But they did. So
let me see here. I this weekend, or actually starting Saturday for a week, I will be hanging out with the PDRA Racing, so the Professional Drag Racing Association announcer this weekend while I'm in Rock Hill.
Cool. Nice. No turns.
No.
Yep.
I am a little jealous because in talking with him, his backyard is kind of like the dirt track at Charlotte.
Nice. That's nice.
Not all like right. It's the actual dirt track at Charlotte.
Nice. Well, on that note, we probably won't be back next week because Doug's off in South Carolina.
I'm doing the other job.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be back in August. Tune in and find out.
I think we should be. I'm flying American.
The podcast are settling down, so.
I'll be flying American, so I will have Wi-Fi in the plane, so I might be able to watch some of the races on the plane. So
there you go. All right. Well, he's been Doug. I've been Ben. Y'all been y'all.
See, he's had a month. He's had a month to figure it out. Don't burn the finger.